What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream. We're back in our Deck Knight project, a game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, C++, blueprints, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all of that good stuff. So today we are going to look a little bit more into our card in hand mechanics. More on the visual side of things, just because what we have right now, this kind of placeholder art and functionality, I want to upgrade it, and I found a very good template project that you can get off of the Unreal Marketplace, this card hand template. Definitely recommend it. It has a lot of cool stuff. We're going to look at it. We're going to see what we can use with it. We're going to see how much we can pull from it, what we have to update to make it work for our game. The stuff that I'm kind of going for with it, and this is the project here. I don't really care for, the mouse hovering over logic or anything like that, but what the things that I like about this template that I want to take from it, the animation for adding a card, how that looks, I think that looks super cool. Animation speed, all looks good as well. Card angles, being able to kind of organize them the way we want and having an arc to them. Scaling them, selected card scale, so you can have them kind of come up. There's peaks and width percentages, have it all kind of come up like that. We can have all this kind of position stuff, and you can add a bunch of cards, right? And I think it looks pretty cool. And there's like stack on sides or keep stack on left, that kind of thing. Like, that could be interesting. I don't know if I want to have any kind of stacking, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's another Unreal Engine project. It comes from this template on Fab that I found. So I really like the behavior of it. And I think I can definitely reuse a lot of it. There's some things that I don't care about, like there's this kind of selection and dragging and stuff like that. Yeah, it definitely looks awesome, and I'm definitely jealous. I'm kind of lazy that I don't want to work on this myself, but I'm going to just research it a little bit, see how it's done, and then probably just pull as much as we can from it. So luckily, it's only a handful of blueprints. Like, there's the game mode and player controller, and the player controller is what's responsible for adding just this UI. And then we got the example HUD, and then, yeah, I'll probably want to introduce the same logic, but maybe as like an IM GUI window. You can, from what I understand. So Ergo from YouTube's asking if we can drag and move them around. You can, and you can move them around like this and replace them. This kind of functionality I don't think I need, because again, the gameplay is really giving me more focused on live action. It's not card turn-based stuff, so we don't need any sort of drag and drop mechanics, but being able to flip through them like that and kind of have it look nice, I think is going to help us with the whole feel of the game. So yeah, UMG Blackmagic fuckery, definitely. So we can reverse engineer it from here. So this is the HUD. So we have a bunch of buttons, has some callbacks that I'm sure hook into the main widget. So yeah, you got all these helper events that call into the card hand, and it adjusts certain properties. Seems pretty straightforward. So then, yeah, the card hand is this. So let's do card hand. And let's start from the event graph. And to be honest, this can become not very performant, I've noticed. Maybe it's a me problem, but right now, yeah, we're at 120 FPS, but as we add more cards, like, I don't know if this will ever be the case. But, we went from 120 to like 80 to 90, and this is a lot of cards, don't get me wrong. I don't know if we'll ever get to this point of having so many cards in a hand, for example. But I'm thinking maybe I should move some stuff to C++, just to squeeze as much as I can out of it. And again, this sort of logic, I think I will move to IM GUI. Maybe also add card. I'll have to figure out how to do that later on. But, these things like animation speed, min and max card spacing, and vertical peaks and widths and stuff like that. It's unperformant for so many cards. If it works fine for the amount you need, but why bother optimizing? Well, the only reason why I would think to optimize is just to squeeze out as much as I can. You're probably right. It might not be necessary, especially if I want to have at max like 8 to 10 cards in a hand. But just to, I guess, one, I think even just making it C++ will give me the optimization I need. So pretty much nativizing what's happening on tick potentially is enough, because that's the only real performant issue. So position cards, this logic running every tick is probably what the problem is, and there's update focus, which is doing, you know, a for each loop. So most likely than not, is probably enough. But yeah, let's look at this, right? So we have input action, UI left, and then there's card navigation, which tells us to move stuff. And when we start, we have 5 cards, right? So what does event begin play look like for all of this? So we initialize, we give 4 cards, and we add card, right? And that's all this is doing, is add card. And again, potentially the unoptimized part of it is the fact that it needs to position and it needs to update on like mouse hover. So most likely we're not going to have issues. And looking at the actual card hand, we have what? Add card, release card, so add card, right? And add card takes in a WB card type. So WB card. And we zoom in, not much going on, and this doesn't have much. This seems to be like a parent class, if I'm not mistaken. Because this inherits from WB card, and this just does a background image. Seems to be just a rounded box with some text, and then colors and everything like that. So doesn't seem like it's too crazy of a thing. So more likely than not, I'm hoping we can simply maybe even just inherit from WBP card hand, and then have our example card kind of go from there. Because there's also some animations. There's this use animation. I don't know where else. So card hand has this. I don't think it has animations in it. I'm guessing the actual animation. I kind of want to know what they're doing for the like hovering. I guess that's not really animation, like adding a card, that's for sure using an animation. I'm not sure how to use a card in this case. I guess that's using a card, just dragging up and releasing. You got that like fade out. I think that looks super nice too. And I know that one's an animation, like use, it just goes whoop. But the other animations, like obviously drag and dropping is not really an animation, but like the hovering. So there's hand events, on drag start, on released, on activate. There's calculate card, calculate X translation. So it has a bunch of this stuff. Position cards is probably the most fun. So calculate transform. So calculate X, and then make widget transform card scale angle. Does angling. Widget transform does that. Okay. But again, let me find the mouse event. So on mouse, what does mouse wheel do? I'm guessing that, yeah, that cycles through. That's kind of what I wanted as well. Being able to cycle through the cards with the mouse wheel, so that's gonna be good to read. So yeah, it says on mouse wheel, card navigation, next and previous. The UI navigation, so left, right, previous, move card, select card, previous, so it's move mode, blah, blah, blah. But there's on mouse move, on focus receive, set keyboard focus, that's the C++ thing. And crazy, hopefully it's not going to open up anything. UI confirm, UI cancel, UI move on. Yeah, so there's event on mouse leave. Is there event mouse only at leave, which is interesting. I would think there's like a mouse enter. All this information. Wow. Add card. Yeah, we do add card. I want to know what this event is, though. It's not dragged in. That's its opacity, right? Dragged out. Dragged released. Use card. Blah, blah, blah. Also initializes, gets the card data, gets a random one. Okay, so it just randomizes, get that table that we saw earlier too, this data, this one. So makes sense, more or less what it's doing. Yes, let's just, I guess let's just, like, I don't know what would be best. I guess I can import it in, because I think all the relative assets are in this template, right? So I should be able to migrate. And we can go to main, Ignite, content, here. So do we have card hand template? We do. So now we have it all in here, hopefully. Now we have it in our project. I don't know. Let's see if it'll work. I think it'll have issues, but let's open up the map. Just double check. Okay, so it still looks fine. Yeah, we're gonna have to just see what this needs now. So, you know, on one hand, we could literally, let's just find our hand. We have current hand, and the reference here is card template main, and then main HUD, right? So in theory, we could, and let me just make the current hand invisible. Could add, so just, so I have two current hands. What's the other hand called? Card hand, right? Could, in theory, just add that. I don't know if I need, like, I think the project does what? Well, I could look at the example HUD. This draws it at a specific kind of dimension. So in theory, maybe, we'll see. Like, what does it look like if I just scale it like that? And obviously, maybe we want to anchor it to the bottom right. What is the results of even doing something like that? So nothing. Just fine, I guess, but my HUD is showing, right? So yeah. And what if I make this full screen? Yeah, still no cards. So, whoops. Guess that's not enough. This is visible. What if I just make it like impossibly large, just so we can't miss it? Do we see anything? We don't. Okay. So let's start from there. So edit widget blueprint, we go in. What's the first problem? Oh, those are really the first problem. I guess nothing is technically initializing this thing, because I believe this is up here responsible, right? So we could, in theory, this and initial. That the let's see. That's not a thing. Should be able to get WBP card hand. We should be able to do this. Get rid of that. Do that. Okay. So it's, you know, it's the, all right. We have it, right? Step one, it's visible, right? Now I want to know what it looks like if I scale this down to the position that I kind of want them to be in. Is it overdrawn? Okay, so they are kind of there, right? And I kind of want them down. Does that make a difference? It does. So kind of already getting close to the vibes that I want. Honestly, the art style is not where they kind of want to be, but it's kind of there. So I kind of want to just write this myself, line by line, in my own card, knowing what I do and do not need. So I have my own like card template thing. So card hand is more or less my card template, I believe. So I'm just gonna, since I don't have anything super duper spectacular, I'm going to just nuke it all. Delete everything. Just start from scratch. So, first thing to do, this is card template, that's one thing. Current hand, also a different thing. So, just gonna nuke everything. And just start from the beginning. Again, we have this setup. Looks okay. And what's interesting though is like I'm getting, well, I guess I'm getting 60 FPS because there's open on the other monitor, but let's just keep an eye out on performance. Yeah, because right now I'm getting still around like 60, but is it also because this other project's open? Is it because I'm streaming? Not sure. Like, it's just not great that I'm getting 70-ish FPS when it's there. let me copy, delete. I get some failures here. Let's just double check. Yeah, so right now, again, I don't know if also because I'm in a new editor window. Let's just do selected viewport just to be sure, because I should be getting somewhere around, like, I don't know what happened, but I should be getting around, yeah, I guess it's 100, right? Typically, maybe it's because I'm streaming at the moment, but let's paste that back. Let's put you back. But yeah, now, like, I lose like 8 FPS, like, ish, because I'm hovering between the 80s and 90s, so it's not great. And I'm not too happy with that. I don't know, like, what the problem could be. Yeah, 10%-ish, which isn't great. And obviously, like, the card placement is not ideal either, still. Like, we have our mock-ups. You know, there's some options that I got through AI. I basically fed in my example template mockups and let it spit out some examples. So I kind of glued them in here just so there's a little bit more context. So I think they're still, I think they definitely need to be lower. Probably something like that. I'm not 100% yet about the size or anything either, but let's take one thing at a time, right? So there's card hand, and we have our current hand. So let's reverse engineer that. So a bunch of things. So they got UI left and UI right. So I believe I have enhanced input card. So select card left. Then select card right. So there's some of our input events. We have a select card, so enhanced input select card, or is it activate? Activate card. So we have our injection points with our input. There's also a cancel selection thing, which I don't think we need. There's the move, and then event on mouse leave. So everything starts with their card navigation. So let's make a new function, card navigation. And its input is an enum of type UI navigation enum. So I'm wondering, there is one already. So say so navigation. And then, yeah, they have, so they have an is move mode variable. So we're just gonna copy paste that, make this a variable. Where is it? General thing. So we're doing a switch. So we have left, right, and then previous and next, I think, right? Previous, next and previous. There's not, like, you don't do anything with it's valid, right? So they split this off from left, right. Well, left and previous go up here. And right and next to go over here. So that's how they started out. And then they make a function called move card. So let's make a new function to move a card, and it's taking it in a card index. The Boolean, say B is right. Okay. This one seems pretty complicated. So they have an array of cards. So I'll have to just assume I'm going to use my cards. So card template, right? So new variable, WPP card template. Say cards in hand. Of course, array. So the first thing they do is they check if the index is greater than 0, or if it's less than the length minus 1. So let's grab card index greater than 0. We're doing a select. So false goes here. True goes here. So we're going to do hand length minus 1. So we don't want to do that, but what we want to say is this less than this. Oh, and then the index is right, so we got that. So this moves on to a branch. So what are we doing in this case? So we're getting card index. So I'm not sure why they're setting it. So get card or get card index. Because yeah, they're doing something weird where in this local variable they're storing this as a variable, a set variable, but it's already stored as the index. So we'll see if that's intentional, if that does something important, or if it's just how they decided to write it. So they're getting this card. Yeah, they're storing this. So current card. Then they're doing this, and picking A is right. So they decide, okay, are we going to the left or going to the right? So we're grabbing this and this instead of this. And then they're storing this, so this is where you can store it. So other card index. And they're getting other card. Other card. Got the other card, and now we're doing what? We're getting the length of the array of the cards, and we're asking if it's greater than, and then the min of current index or the other index. And it's saying they're doing a while loop. So let's grab that. So this is cards in hand. And so we're getting while the length is greater than the minimum of this. So it's going to be other card index and card index. I rarely see while loops in blueprints, honestly. Well, in code, even in code in general. So while it's greater than, we're then going to get this minimum. A while. So we're gonna, so we store things to the right. So right hand cards. These are all local variables, right? Yeah, right cards. So Let's make a variable. This is a type. So, 8 cards. Add. And then remove at that same index. So cards in hand, remove index. And after that while loop, we do another bool check. So inch. It's right. It's true. If it is to the right, we're adding here, get other card. We're going to say add card, which is a function of the card hand itself. So I need to say add card, so other card, current card. And then it's false, we do the opposite direction. Then we may not need a lot of this if you can't really move the cards around. But we'll see. Because you got card mat navigation. We'll see. And then for some reason we're removing index 0. Twice. Which I'm not understanding why. Okay. Add card. Potentially add its child to the canvas. Okay. Seems like it does a good amount of work. Well, actually, add card is another function in here, so we can write that next. So let's do that now. So add card takes in a card. Add card. Complete card, I guess, right? One thing at a time. The owning hand. Okay, so the card itself needs a reference to the owning hand for some reason. Maybe not necessary. So for now, let's not care about it. Let's put a comment. So now we're going to say, so our canvas. So do we have a canvas? We don't. Let's add a canvas. So we're asking if the canvas has this child. If it does, bypass a couple things. It looks like we're not adding the child to the canvas at that point. We're not setting its size or anything, but we are adding it to our cards, right? So if it's true, add, get card, get card. And then so we're setting the Z order based on the index. So the newer cards are layered on top. So set the Z order. Or no. Slot as canvas slot. Nope, set the Z order. Setting it at, so that makes sense. If it's false, that's when we want to add child, canvas, set auto size, set alignment 25. Okay, so when we're adding a card, we're checking if it already exists on the canvas. If it does, we just add it, set the Z order, and we're done. If it doesn't exist, we add it to the canvas, set its alignment, and set it to auto size. So after we set the Z order, we check to see if the length is greater than or equal to 1, and if it is, we select card. Branch. And then we call select card. So a select card is a new function. So select card takes in a few parameters here. It's an index. Index and then a Boolean from removal. Call it with -1. I guess the default value could be -1, right? It's from removal, blah, blah, blah. So that's, I believe, everything except for the whole set owning hand reference, which I think is fine. So now back in move card, we should be able to add the card. So other card. Again, I don't know why it's going to be removing the index twice. Gotta go. Good luck with figuring out the system. Thanks, man. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your Sunday. Have a good week this week. Keep up the good work. That's everything, right? Oh. Go up here. And then essentially do the opposite down here. Boom. Again, not sure why we're removing both indexes. Then we do it for each. Card. Select. Index. Okay. For the most part, it's so select card left, we call card navigation left. Right. Not sure about confirm yet. Or cancel. There's the whole move, mouse, leave, and enter. Don't think we need most of that. Now we gotta do the tough part. There's update focus. So this is the stuff happening on tick. Tick. Super, of course. Focus. see what it's doing. So the cards are not empty, so cards in hand. It's not empty. And we don't really care about dragging. We don't want to drag anything, so we can just bypass any sort of check with dragging. And then we do a loop. So yeah, a bunch of stuff about hovering, move mode. So we have this is move mode, so we want to grab that. So if this is true, hey sir, what's the best way to learn UE5? Can you suggest, please? Well, I mean, the cliche answer is just to go in and try to make something. You can always, there's tutorials, obviously, but you can only take that so far. You have to start experimenting and doing stuff on your own. My suggestion is to think of what you want to make. Like, give yourself a goal. It doesn't necessarily have to be a game that you want to make, but if you want to make a system or a mechanic, start there, and then kind of reverse engineer from there. Find tutorials that focus on those subjects, things that you think will be needed for those systems. There's some stuff on the forums that you can look at. You can always join our Discord if you need help with anything. I can link it as well. So that's where I'd start. That's what I started when I was doing stuff in UDK and Kismet. I was like, oh, let me make an automated turret, or hey, let me make a puzzle, or hey, let me make a wave system or something like that. So figure out what you want to make it short, small in scope, and then slowly expand on it, find new things to work on, and things like that. Hopefully that helps. Then temp block cover. I don't think I need to do anything here because this is all focus stuff. So hopefully that's enough on update focus. Now the complicated stuff is the position cards. It takes in delta time, so position cards. So again, we get the cards amount. I guess we don't care if it's empty. I don't know if it'll ever be empty, but we might as well do that sort of check. So it is not empty. And this is the most complicated stuff. So we have a cards amount, so we get length. Store this to a local variable. So num of cards. Bam. So if it's not empty, we get a number of cards. And they're also using a stream for messiness. So this seems to be a random stream variable type. It seems to be a base variable. So random messiness stream. This is not okay. This is a random stream. Let reset. Is it normal at staring that I understand most of the bits through the tutorial, but am not able to apply logic on my own when I try to create something myself? Will it be solved with experience? Yeah, it will definitely be resolved with experience. You got to make mistakes in order to grow. You got to feel stupid for a long time before you can start feeling comfortable. It's like any skill. You know, you can't be expected to know everything at once and understand everything at once or know how to apply it all at once. It's an iterative process, so don't feel bad that you may not understand it right away. Just keep going. If it's something you're passionate about, you won't stop. You'll keep going. You'll ask for help when you need it. You'll share the experience when you think you can share it, and kind of help others grow, hopefully. I don't know if I want to have a variable for B, use old positioning or not. Old positioning, not sure what that should look like. Yeah, look, help me look. Recent levels, there's the example. What's old positioning? I like old positioning, so let's just assume old positioning. So use old positioning, calculate card transform. We need a new function. Calculate transform. Okay, so now we need new functions. So calculate X translation by Y. This is probably the stuff that I'm going to move to C++ to help with performance. Then there's calculate. Oh God. Calculate angle. So yeah, transform. It's going to be a bunch of stuff. So all of these need relatively the same signature. So we need a template card, template cam, say current card, then its index and its card amount. So no cards. Don't think I can copy all those. That's unfortunate, but it's whatever. I just changed this to template code. Template card, bam. So current card, index, total num cards, right? That's how I named it. Do that. Bam. Same. 1, 2, 3. This is integer. This is integer. Cards. This is card. Oops. Card angle, I believe, is also the same. Oh, okay, so card angle takes additional parameters. Yeah. Oh no. Old. Just takes 2. Awesome. That's nice. So 1, 2. Both integers, right? Yep. This is this one. This is this one. Index. Is that how I named the other ones? Index. Just for sake of consistency. So current. Bam. So back into position cards, we do calculate, transform. It takes current card, so we should have all those local variables. So current card, index, cards. Bam. Doing calculate card transform. Also, one last question. Should I learn C++ side by side too, since I'm in my second year of engineering and it will help me in academics too? Or should I solely focus on blueprints at first? I mean, if you're already going for engineering and you're in your second year of engineering, you might be a little more comfortable with C++ right out the gate. Blueprints is, as you're seeing, very, very visual. It's very simple. It also kind of helps you learn a little bit about the library in a visual way. So if that's the kind of person that you are, the way that you learn, maybe it's worth doing stuff side by side. The typical rule of thumb is, obviously, blueprints work. Blueprints are fine. If you make a game in blueprints, you can totally do that. But the general rule of thumb, especially in AAA or more, is do a blend. Move stuff to C++ that makes sense to be moved to C++. Major systems, things that need to be happening every other frame or every frame, move to C++. Try to make things as data-driven as you can be within your blueprints. Try to keep things as simple as you can within your blueprints. Do a hybrid approach for it, and you should be getting the best results. But if you're learning, do what makes you comfortable. I know it's easier to do stuff in blueprints. There's a faster turnaround with doing stuff in blueprints because you just have to compile the editor. You don't have to do a whole compilation of the project or anything like that. So follow your heart. I started with Kismet back in the Unreal Engine 3 days, and then I did a lot in blueprints, and only in the last few years have I jumped really into C++ to improve my skills and help me also communicate with engineering teams. So if you're in engineering, you're coming in from that kind of background, then you shouldn't have an issue either way. Okay, and calculate card transform all. This should also be returning what type of variable? Widget transform. This, and then we can store this as a variable. I'm checking if where are we getting selected index from? So selected index is a root variable. So we're gonna say selected index integer. So we're checking if selected index equals our current card index. So if these two are the same, what do we want? So again, we don't care about dragging mechanics with these cards. Calculate selected card transform. So now we gotta do this. So selecting the card transform, I guess this is what makes it hover. Which, like with my hovering mechanics, I want to make sure that I don't want to keep the skewness that this example has. I want it to kind of straighten up and shoot up. So we're going to have to revisit that once we do it one-to-one. So we need a new function. I guess we can do calculate selected card. Seems to have almost a similar signature. So we need the card and then widget transform. Damn. Hey, what's up? Hey, Abby Grail, how you doing? Currently, we are rewriting this example that we got from the marketplace. We're scrapping a lot of the functionality that it has. I don't care about the hovering or anything, but it has a lot of cool stuff in it that I want to duplicate into my project with my cards so that they kind of function the same way. So hopefully I'm not going to get in trouble for just but you know, you don't see it on screen, the other stuff, the raw logic, but hopefully I won't get in trouble for just writing it on stream. I see you have lots of experiences. I have questions. So yeah, Abigail, go ahead and ask as many questions as you'd like. We're only going to be streaming for another 30-ish minutes or so. And Ronak, thanks for the advice. For now, I will go and will tell you on the next stream about my progress for my own satisfaction. Bye. Peace out. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. Best of luck to you. And for those joining the stream, what we're trying to do, we're making a game where we're trying to blend deck building and card mechanics. And trying to blend that with real-time action gameplay where you activate cards to grant yourself abilities, passive and active abilities, or instant effects, and use that against waves of enemies. Stylized, like an artistic style, not artistic style, a very stylized aesthetic, fantasy, high fantasy. I wanted to be a roguelike like Hades and have the deck building mechanics of like Slay the Spire. See how well that can blend together, because usually deck building mechanics work mainly in turn-based combat, so I want to see what it looks like to blend out with real-time combat, see how easily or not easily players can balance those two mechanics, and how they can fight harder and harder enemies and things like that. So we have mock-ups of our UI. We want to have the cards. We're still trying to figure out exactly where they need to be. Right now, mock-up 7 is our current selection here. So right now we're working on what the cards will look like, and kind of go from there. And just to show a little bit of gameplay. And yeah, Abby Growl, I see your question. Just a second, I'll make sure to answer. So obviously this is the example of the cards. But we have our gameplay. We have basic melee. We have evasive actions. We have our health. We have a dummy character we can smack around. Obviously, the performance is not doing too good right now because we have 2 windows open, but we have damage numbers. Eliminating the original example. Let me make this invisible just so we don't get the wrong idea. And we can show the current hand. So, oh yeah, we eliminated a lot of the stuff there. But trust me, there's other cards there. So let's go back. Avi Grell, I wanted to know how you manage dependency services into projects. With VPs, there's so much static stuff I don't like. I mean, when you do anything for big projects, the biggest bottleneck is asset references and what you're loading at any kind of given time. So typically, the advice is to use soft pointers, soft object references, soft class references, and then loading what you need to load at the moment you need it. I remember when I was working on Aquanox, we had a case where when we were opening the main menu, it was taking forever to get to the main menu. And the reason why it was taking forever to get to the main menu is because of all of the dependency trees. Like the main menu was relying on the player controller, and the player controller had all these dependencies because everything was hard referenced up until the point of even like loading in the game ships and stuff like that. So we had to do a complete overhaul and refactor of it just so we weren't loading all those hard references at once. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So typically, that's what you need to try to do. Try to use subsystems where you need to try to reduce the number of components and how many components are ticking at a certain time, and kind of branch off from there. I hope that answers the question. It's true. We do calculate power transform. And power transform. No, not translation. Software reference, I need to look into that. Thanks. No problem. Because yeah, you can async load or force load soft object references at any given point. Obviously, if you force load, you might get some hiccups. So it's really about choosing when to asynchronously load the content that you need. If you're using the gameplay ability system, you can usually load things when something is granted. You get a callback in the ability, not in the blueprints, but in code, you'll get a callback for when an ability is granted. You could what's the word? You could derive a new class that exposes that to blueprint, which we do in this project. But either way, now we do have a macro called interpolate transform. So let's look at that. That takes 2 inputs, current and target. So bam, bam. Takes result. Yeah, that makes sense. So target. Result. Time as well. Float. Okay. Break. Break. Animation speed variable, of course. Oh, we got a kitty coming. Hey, boo boo. Variable, so. Category. Okay, somewhere. Just coming in. He's right. Say hi to the lovely people. Everyone say hi to Lola. We love kitties in this house. Okay, so we're basically interpolating what? So we're doing the transform, we're doing the scale and the shear and the angle. So fair enough. So we should do vector 2D. Vector 2. We'll do translation first. Speed and then we're constructing, so make widget transform. We're passing that as the result, right? So that's translation, scale. So let's make sure current target. Scale. Did you work on Cyberpunk? I love that game. Unfortunately, no. I joined CDPR in 2022, I believe, and I was just put directly on The Witcher 4. I didn't get a chance to work on vanilla Cyberpunk or Phantom Liberty, unfortunately, but I know some people, well, a good amount of people who did. They should be really proud of that game. It really came back from the depth, honestly. And I got to hear some horror stories, some war stories, you know, all super cool, interesting things that I'm lucky to hear about, you know. And hopefully, you know, people will love The Witcher 4 like I do. Finally, we do angle. Speed. Macro. Let's go back. So we're in position. That's right. Okay. So if it's false, we just go straight into that, right? think that's it. So now I gotta go into these individual things. So calculate selected card transform. So current card, we do get desired size, splitting that. Okay, and then we're doing an in transform, we're breaking that. Your screen is hard for me to read. What resolution are you streaming? I have a widescreen monitor. So I'm doing, what is it? 3440 by 1440. I can always make it a little bit bigger. Size, breaking vector. So what are we doing? So we need another variable setting. So we'll do card scale. By the way, do you have the Blueprint Assist button? It's not button plugin. I recently got it and it's a game changer. I don't. Is that? I don't think that's free, is it? I believe we have it at work, but yeah, I don't have it here. Now, so we're getting the Y. We're multiplying this by card scale. Do they have card default? Let's just as well. Animation speed, yes, as well as 12. Okay, so this is get multiplied by card scale. I would lick shit off your chin. I appreciate that, Bill. Thanks, man. I already have some shit on my chin, honestly. One thing at a time. So we're taking this card scale on the Y, and then we're doing another float multiply. So I can just copy that. So we're taking the results of this, multiplying it in here. We need a third. I need to get sine these nuts. It's in degrees, right? Yeah. And then the sine is of the angle. That. So we multiply that. The third multiplication is selected, show Y amount. So another variable. Count correctly. Settings. It's a point default. And then we do add thing to this. Translation X. Splitting this like this. Okay. And then the result we do a make translation. Make translation. Make transform. And then we return that result. Whoops. So this result pin goes into translation X. So we got a split. And then translation Y. We take this translation Y. We do a final add to it. What are we adding to it? We're taking the angle, we're taking the cosine, we're multiplying that by this, and then the selected Y amount times -1. Bam. That goes into this addition, and then this put into translation Y. So scale, we're also splitting. So scale X, scale Y. This is what? Selected card scale. Need to say selected card scale. Set 5. And then we do a switch, I guess. Just do card scale. Card scale. This goes X. Shear is just shear. And boom. Angle is just angle. And then this goes here. So that's the transform. Okay. Position cards. Calculate selected card. Transform. Position cards. Let's make sure. Do we have everything? There is also option for calculate offset. Calculate. Oh yeah. So we're in. So we're in position card. We're in here. So that's the. Did something wrong, right? So position cards. We did calculate selected. Okay, great. But yeah, calculate, transform, hold here. But yeah, this is where we gotta start doing more stuff. So we have calculate. These are all. What's the word? Definitely a lot. So this is pure. Translation, also pure. Card angle, probably. Pure. Attach the position cards. Transform. So yeah, we need to do this. And this needs to return it, right? So this we need to make split. So this function needs to return a float. So we're saying out translation like that. And then y needs to do something very similar. So out translation y. Say yeah. R. Card index. So get index. Get total num cards. Bam. There. Card scale is just the variable. I think I could just do that, right? Valid. Shear. Doesn't matter. It's saying an angle. Calculate angle. This is what I would float. So out angle. These two. That's that function. Now, translation X seems to be very, 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 very complicated. So, no better place than to start the beginning. So we don't need to set these first variables up because that's not necessary. We do want to make a local variable called hand width, so we gotta get hashed geometry. Hash this. X is hand width. First thing. Second thing, get card width. So we gotta get card. Local, right? So get current card. Desired size. Break by X by card scale. This is card width. Bam. Now we have to calculate available width. So available width, so we need to make some variables. So it's selected X amount. Just gotta see if that 5 is the default value. So we need to get this. And it's minimum card spacing. That's another variable. So minimum card spacing. Spell minimum card spacing. That minimum card spacing. Take that value, multiply it by card width, which is a local thing. Okay. Select float. So we're going to switch between these values depending on whether the selected index is greater than or equal to 0. And so basically if it's between 0 and the last one. So we should have selected index is greater than or equal to 0. X not less than equals, but less than whole number, right? -1. Always forget -1. Here, nope, rather, and with minus, right? Times this. With percentage 1. Bam. Then this is a very complicated set of operations, so let's move things over a little bit. This is getting min. Oh. Like this, and so we get card width. Card spacing, so times cards -1. And this is available with. Take available with, minus it, subtract it by what? Times it by 0.5. Starting point. That's a bunch of variables here. Now, more, so max cards displayed. Thing, so available with. Spacing. Or I'm sure once I, write this all out one by one, it's going to not look the same. I'm sure of it, but that's what will be the fun part where we have to debug and we'll really learn the system here. Min card width. Do I have anything like that yet? So min card width is card width times card spacing, which is this. Basically this again. This is my card width. Now, for a shit ton. This then plugs into the return value, and there's just a lot going on. So I just got this left to right, I suppose. So we need to get number. So we'll probably write this out, and we'll call it a stream from there. So number cards -1. Some variables here. So we'll introduce these variables. So keep stack on the left is the boolean. So no, cool. Okay, so this is stack left. We do a select. Cool. This is all integer based, so bam bam. So I can just reintroduce it, bam bam. Selected. Text. Bam. Say hey is equal to -1. We may not be able to write this whole thing in the next 9 minutes. So we need to grab this, subtract it by what? Max cards displayed to get the modulus to adding what? this. 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 Getting total cards. This one always. Subtracting time. Subtracting this value. Min. That. Adding this. This. That X. Max. Min. That. Get index. This. With this. Multiply this by float by chance. Max is also less than top, bottom. Select float. Point is an A. B. This plus this. Another one. So index is greater than. Then separate select float. You've been working out, big homie, looking sexy. I have been working out a little bit, but I don't think enough to really make a difference visually, but I appreciate it. You know your boy hits the gym as little as possible, but I'm trying to go more. That's everything from that side. Garage Fight Club win. Oh my god. Billy, you must remember Dogpile Club. That was an insane go of nonsense. But yeah, unfortunate timing, Turi. I'm about to end the stream for the night. what we've been doing is just reverse engineering and kind of rewriting the stuff that we found from this really good card template that we're going to try to use for our cards. So we're just kind of reverse engineering this logic, writing it in our own hand, more or less copying what we need. There's a lot of like hovering logic that we don't need that we're going to skip over, but we're going to just take a lot of the logic over. And then we'll integrate it with our system to display the text and activate it and have that kind of functionality working as well. That's what we're going to be working on this week. And then I also found pretty good, not wish list, my library. Found a pretty cool parallax card material too that I would like to try to use. Could be interesting to try to use it. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, those times in that backyard of Arizona playing Flip Cup with Everclear was gross. I think it's because of those times I have such bad memory of things. But yeah, so we're slowly making our way. I like the direction we're going in. We'll just have to see how this all kind of turns out when we rewrite this 1-to-1, and then we'll have to convert some stuff to C++ to make it a little more performant. And we're going to make an IM GUI so that we can adjust some of the same settings, because this example has a lot of cool settings you can mess around with. So you can add cards, and I like that animation. You can change the card angles in the card arc and card scale. I want to kind of just bring these into the IM GUI so I can easily find something that looks nice and then just kind of snapshot it. And kind of go from there. Little Elmer's glue kind of, yeah. Yeah, watering down was the best thing we could do. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for popping in, the both of you. I hope you enjoy your week. We'll be back probably on Tuesday. We won't stream on Thursday, but we'll be back on Tuesday. So hang tight. I'll miss you guys. I'll see you soon. And have a good night.